What if you were in the shuttle and all of a sudden the back of the shuttle starts to turn on you and you don't understand what's going on? There must be some kind of thrust being produced, but you're not commanding it, and neither is the computer. What are you going to do? Well, that's what we're going to cover this week when I teach you on this switch, or these switches that are right up here. We're going to be talking about the aft reaction control tank isolation switches. And when you click on it, takes you to the aft RCS tank isolation switches page. So you can see here are all the switches, and what these switches do are they permit manual control of the corresponding pair of tank isolation valves for the reaction control system. This happens to be the aft control system. The switch positions are open, GPC, or General Processing Computer, and closed. The aft tank isolation valves can be commanded open or closed when the General Processing Computer position is ops 1, 3, and 6. So what these 1, 3, and 6 for auto crossfeed purposes, there's another section down here, auto crossfeed, that we will get to later. But these valves need to be open for that, and that operations that's in the software. These are certain phases of flight for the shuttle. So we have OPS 1, which is the ascent when it is going into orbit, 3, entry when it's getting back into the atmosphere, and then 6, which is a very critical one. This is the RTLS, or return to landing site abort, and that's when the auto crossfeed the switches work. And that is, these again are very critical phases of flight, especially number 6, return to landing site. So that's why the general purpose computer will say, okay, we've got a RTLS in the computer system, and the software is going to actually help you turn around to land at the landing site. And what it needs to do is auto crossfeed for maybe there might be a problem with some of the propellants in the RCS system, reaction control system. And the computer needs control of those thrusters. So that's what we have for our free YouTube subscribers and our free subscribers. If you want to go deeper with me, we're going to go into schematics. That's for our Patreon subscribers, our paying Patreon subscribers, and yes, our free subscribers. So if you are a free subscriber, means it doesn't cost anything, or paying subscriber, which is a cup of coffee. We're going to go deeper into schematics, and if you're one of those paying subscribers, we're going to go even deeper into the systems on this panel. But for right now, if you are a paying subscriber, or if you are a Patreon subscriber and you click on schematics,
is the book Flying the Space Shuttle, A Pilot's Guide to Orbital Flight, Digital Autopilots, and Spacecraft Navigation. Now, this book is actually, the text itself has been sent into outer space as part of a documented test of electronic information integrity in the space environment. And this is the original source manuscript whose text was intentionally selected, prepared, and transported beyond Earth's atmosphere as part of a documented space flight data integrity experiment. So you can actually check out this book here and see it. You can read a sample. If you come down here, read a sample. This will be what you see. So you can actually go through. What I have in here is the first chapter, and it is going to explain what the instruments are on the space shuttle and tell you what each component is. Now, the first chapter goes over very quick summary of what the instrument is. If you go into the book further, you can see on the chapters here that you go into the parts, the aerometers, the rate indicator, all of that you will be able to look at in the book. But right up to here, you get to display on, or you get to view on the Amazon site, and the text that we put onto the spacecraft and launch goes all the way down to chapter 4. That's as much information as I could squeeze into my space that I was allowed to into the satellite or into the rocket that went into outer space. And this is my certificate that tells it that it went into flight. Now, on October 27th is when I loaded it onto the rocket, and it went up into space later in November. And one of the great things down here is if you scan it with your computer, you can see the text that was actually sent into outer space, and it'll be in identical to the book, except there might, or there is in the text, it says test flying. It's my first book in space, test flying the space shuttle. Now, the reason I did that is to document. So, to the author's knowledge, this marks the first publicly documented case in which the original manuscript of an Amazon Kindle ebook served as the primary text source for a recorded outer space transportation prior to its publication. Well, this was the source document, so this is before the publication of the next book that I'll have out. This is the original source document. And again, right here, if you click on Read a Sample, you can actually look and see the contents of the book even before you buy it. And it goes over Chapter 1, the primary flight display, which is basically an overview of what the astronauts see when they're flying the shuttle. And it's pretty similar to what they fly on SpaceX or the Artemis rocket that goes into outer space that is going to go to the moon coming up in February of 2026. So if you want to see that, you can come down here, or you can see and read about those instruments here.